All right, we are live. Can everybody see me and hear me? Looking good on my end. KBPS is solid. I think we're good. All right, so this is going to be probably even shorter than a usual post-game stream because I know people are not really going to be into it right now. People are not really going to care that much. But the Seahawks played a game today, and there were some things about the game that were very good, and there were some things about the game that were very bad, and they ended up gutting out the win. The Lions are going to hold on to this, huh? All right. Yeah, we had no answer for the Rams screen game. Every time we got pressure, Jimmy G had a wide open guy to just dump it off to. Nolan, I just got Arby's. I didn't want to go to Five Guys because they take too long, and I wanted to be back before this game started because it's a good game. Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold. Yeah, I mean, you don't like to see people lose their jobs, but in this case, I think we need a couple people to lose their job. Nobody, obviously not the head coach, but I think the OC's just bad. I feel like Grubb is gone. I think it's higher than 50%, but it's really hard to tell with these things. I don't think McDonald would say some of the things that he said if he was happy with Grubb. You know? Like, why would you say the things that you've said if you're happy with Grubb? So I think he's gone. And letting an OC only get a year is really not that uncommon. It's really not. When's the next mock draft? Probably later this week. I thought the Vikings were going to win. Only putting up 9 points on this completely injured Lions defense is really bad. I can't believe that wasn't some kind of flag. All right, so anyway, the Seahawks today played really well on offense, really badly on defense, mediocre on special teams. And that's how you get there. Any QBs you like in the draft? I kind of like Riley Leonard. I think the Tennessee guy isn't coming out. I kind of like him too. Oh, we're going to talk a lot about free agency, Seahawks OG, for sure. I don't really like Dart that much, Jibra. I feel like he's a system quarterback. Who do you think the possible candidates are for OC if we do end up firing Grubb? I want Frank Reich. Frank Reich would be nice. Doug Peterson would be cool too. You could go get somebody like Brian Dable or Mike Kafka. Oh, he whiffed. I imagine DK is going to want at least $28 million a year and probably more. And that's kind of an issue. I don't really want to go there personally. Why did Grubb wait until today to break out the screen lateral when people were boxing the same screen? That's a good question, man. Yeah, JSN did get to 100, though, so he tied the record. Nothing wrong with that. It is kind of sad, though, that we can't find a way to utilize these players a little better. Like, that's one thing that I thought Grubb deserved a lot of credit for. We were utilizing JSN heavily the way JSN needs to be utilized, but today it was not. It was more like the way Waldron would have used JSN. Grubb getting fired, right, Brendan? I think he will be, but you have to wait and see with this stuff sometimes. Drew Allar has already said he's not declaring. That's the problem. A lot of these quarterbacks that aren't super blue chippers just stay in college until they are blue chippers. So it's really hard to get a good quarterback be after the first like 15 picks or 12, 20 picks. But that doesn't mean I'm going to force myself to take JJ McCarthy type players in the top 10. Do you think we should cut Draymond Jones? I think we have to, man. Hello, Herman. Do you think Reich will be available or take a head coaching job? I don't think he's taking a head coaching job. Who would give him a head coaching job? His last two head coaching jobs didn't end well. I don't think it was his fault, but teams are going to look at that. Like he didn't succeed with Indy, and then he didn't succeed at all with Carolina. And I don't think either of that's on him, but people are going to take it that way. Reich will be lucky to be in the NFL again, I think, personally. At this point. And I think he's good enough to do it, but I think he would be happy to just be an OC again. Do you think we can get Trey Smith? Well, I hate to say it, but John Schneider already had a quote from earlier today basically saying, we don't spend a lot of money in free agency. So he's already kind of greasing the pathway to not go that path. I would take Schottenheimer. Schottenheimer's good. I would do Brian Schottenheimer all day. But I want to aim a little higher first. Mayo is an assistant. I don't know if we need that. Isn't he he's a linebacker guy, right? Cornerback situation. Well, we had a lot of injuries today, but we do need another corner for sure. Well, Grubb could get fired anytime in the next couple months. I would hope he would do it the first week so we can start looking for a replacement immediately. Man, the Lions are really going to do this, huh? They're going to get the 1 seed and 15 wins with all these defensive injuries. Grubb might not be let go for a few days. I don't know. I'm gonna give them a little bit of time, but the sooner you get on it, the sooner you can start looking for the replacement. What are your thoughts on James Pierce Jr. as a prospect? I like him a lot. I like him a lot. I definitely don't think he's Darrell Taylor. Tyreek traded. Sounds like Tyreek's gonna get traded. Yeah. Do you think we can get the Giants OC if he isn't hired as head coach? That would be a great one. I don't want Tyreek, man. That guy's in. That guy's just fixing to fall off a cliff here any day now, and he's already kind of a moron. I don't want to deal with that. Yeah, Tyreek's like 30, but his game is completely predicated on speed. What is Tyreek if he loses his elite speed? You know, he's not going to be like a Calvin Johnson type who can just play forever because he's got such good body control. It feels like we have a bunch of good edge rushers, but nobody elite. Yeah, there's truth to that, which is why some people want to trade for Micah Parsons. You could package some of those good pass rushers into an elite one. But anyway. I want to say a couple things real quick. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. 75 people in here. Not expecting much more than that tonight because the game was what it was. Please like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. We're trying to get to 19,500 by the end of January. Maybe get to 20,000 by the start of free agency. So if you haven't subbed yet, please do so. If you want to go above and beyond that, there are many ways to support the channel. You can super chat and you can tip by clicking the link near the top of the description. If you look at the trackers over on the left-hand side of the screen, we have trackers for both. Tips and super chats will get pop-up messages on screen that I'm guaranteed to see and reply to. You can become a channel member for $2, $5, or $15 a month, gain access to perks. You can pledge to the Patreon. Those are the best ways to help support the channel. How much money would we save if we cut Myers? I don't have the exact number in front of me, Nathan, but I don't think we're cutting Myers yet. One more year. I'd like to. I don't like having an expensive kicker, but I don't think you give him that deal and then cut him after 2 years. What are your thoughts on Draymond Jones? He's, decent player, but can't be making that kind of money. We need the money more than we need Draymond Jones. It sucks, but he just never totally fit in here and was mostly a frustrating player. Why would we cut Myers? Because he's not one of the best kickers in the league and he's not consistent, so there's an argument to be made for cutting loose before the bad stuff comes. You want to be proactive, not reactive. Is Noah Fant getting released? Yeah, I think so. I can't imagine him coming back. There's no way you can say that his production's worth the money. It's just not even close. And he's not a bad player, but something's not right. ACN, thank you for the member message. 10 wins, Geno, Metcalf, Lockett. Yeah, they don't give out 10-win seasons for free, people. They don't. But thank you for the 6 months. Barner, I think, is going to be really good. I'm pretty sold on Barner right now. Pretentious Cameron, thank you for the 36 months. Is AJ Barner going to be tight end 1 next season? I think so. If you keep DK, and of course you have JSN, if you find another quality number 3 receiver, somebody at least as good as Lockett was this year, just younger, you don't need a superstar tight end. You just need a okay one, and I think Barner can be that okay one. What about Bobo? I don't think Bobo's going to be on the team next year. Like, I suspect that Bobo's going to be selling insurance next year, personally. What round grade do you have on Delp? Well, he didn't really do anything this year, so it's hard to go further than like a 5th round pick. He is talented. Yeah, I did hear about that, Russell Marqueux. I heard we got most of the things we needed, but we would have needed everything. So even one game going the wrong way would have not cut the mustard. If you had to pick one to draft, who would it be? Booker, Pierce, Loveland? Pierce is probably the best player. Maybe I'd rather have Booker, but I think Pierce is the best player. I'm going to have to look into that a little bit more. I wish Booker played a little better this year, honestly. I wish Bobo was Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick gets open sometimes. Gino is most likely getting extended, right? Thoughts? I suspect that he will be. NFL teams do not want to sacrifice winning seasons for the long term if they don't have to. So I don't see this team going, hey, we've got a team that will win at least 9 or 10 games consistently every year, but let's take a step back and win 6 games next year, and hopefully that turns into 13 games the next year. Like, I'm not feeling it. Teams don't do that because they don't want to lose the money that they would make that season selling tickets. Can you make another salary cap video? I'll make salary cap videos, Nathan. We got plenty of time to talk about the things we got to do to clear cap space. Vikings need to think about going for it. Man, what is going on? What is going on? The Lions defense is beat to hell. And Darnold can't do anything against them, man. This is an indoor game, and people want to tell me that Sam Darnold's better than Geno Smith. People really want to tell me that Sam Darnold is better than Geno Smith. Imagine thinking that. Couldn't be me. What starters are for sure getting cut? Well, I think Lockett is definitely getting cut or is retiring or whatever. Draymond Jones, Roy Robertson Harris, Rayshawn. Possibly like Bradford if he doesn't show signs of improvement this offseason. Who am I forgetting? Y2K, thank you for the $5 super chat. I think you either got to go for it on the O-line or truly rebuild. A new QB won't be ready in 2 to 3 years, and then Geno will be old then. The problem is owners don't like that. And John Schneider doesn't like that. John Schneider just wants to stay in the pocket. Because as long as you're winning like 9 to 10 games a year, you're going to keep your job. And that's the thing that matters to these people. I think that's the mindset. I think John Schneider is sitting there thinking, oh yeah, both fans are gone. Farrell Brown's a free agent, so not him. See, teams don't operate like they're running. Like, I think some people, some fans, think that these teams operate like it's Madden, where they either want to be the best team or the worst team. A vast majority of teams are totally fine being just a little above average every year. That's the dirty little secret. Championships are not that high of a priority. Because ultimately the priority of these franchises is to make money. I think you nail it right on the head when you say Reek doesn't like playing football. That's the vibe I get. Dude. Darnold. Darnold losing tens of millions of dollars by the minute. This is your king? This is your king? This is the guy who's better than Geno Smith? Dude, Brian Flores better cook up something diabolical for Stafford. I do not. If the Rams win a playoff game, I'm going to be really sad. So you don't. It's very rare that you see a team willingly decide to just be awful, because being awful does have a cost that teams are not willing to pay. Like seeing a team do what like the Sixers did in the NBA 10 years ago, very rare. It requires ownership that looks at things very differently. There are some good receivers in this draft. Like I like Tez Johnson, man. He looks like Lockett. He doesn't really play like Lockett, but like Tez Johnson's fun. You could get him in maybe the 3rd round. I don't know if the White Sox are actually like totally blowing it, rebuilding though, Drake. I think they just are really bad. I don't think it's intentional. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's intentional. You think we could cut Lockett and get him back on the veteran minimum? I mean, I'd be okay with that, but why would Lockett play football for the veteran minimum? He's got other things going on in his life that he can do. He doesn't need to play another full season of football for $1.5 million. Like, why would he do that? That's something that somebody would do if they have nothing else going on in their life. Well, Drake, okay. That might be more because the owner doesn't care, not because he's trying to tank. Like, I don't think they're trying to tank. I think they're just trying to be bad. It's a little different. Yeah, I don't know why Lockett would want to do that. Uh-oh. 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 Vikings are toast. Oh, they needed that fumble. OC candidate. Man, I feel like I've answered this question 800 times in the last month. The OC candidates I like: Frank Reich, Doug Peterson, Brian Dable, Mike Kafka. Maybe somebody like a Zach Taylor, who I don't think gets fired anymore. I'd take Brian Schottenheimer. Yeah, this one looks like it's over. Let me check something here real quick. Okay, so according to Spotrac, Tyler Lockett has made $89 million in his career, and that's not including the money he's going to make if he's cut. So I think that would come out to, I'm not sure how Spotrac does their calculations, but that might come out to like 93. I think he'll be okay. Do we let Nehemiah Pritchett go? He's a rookie. He's not supposed to be out there right now. I still really like Pritchett. So if the Lions score here, this sucker's over. I don't know. I just wouldn't expect Lockett to have so little going on in his life that he needs to play football for another million and a half. What is he, TO? Well, Trey Brown's definitely gone, I think, OG. Trey Brown is definitely gone. And I think Joby's going to stay. Burns either way. And Reek, I think, is getting traded, so, or cut or whatever. I don't think Reek's going to be here next year, so I think that's probably the likely outcome here. I would expect to hear Ryan Grubb getting fired in the next few days if he's going to get fired, but the thing is, you don't want to wait, right? If you're gonna fire your OC, you need time to look for your next one. I don't think Joby's been inconsistent, Jai, bro. I think mostly he's been extremely good. Dude, why are they going for it? Dude, kicking a field goal makes it a 3-score game. The game is over if you make this field goal. What are you doing? What are you doing? Well, I don't know if they were planning on snapping that, but we'll never know now. But I like to think they were. Yeah, Love's been good. I mean, we gave him that extension because we believed in him, and for the most part, I think he's rewarded that. Hmm. Well, I guess this is the typical modus operandi of the Vikings, right? Oh, wow, he got in. What a no-show for Minnesota. I'm shocked. I mean, I'm trying to think about the Lockett thing. Like, would I give him veteran minimum? I guess, but there's even a part of me that's like, I'd rather just try to find somebody new. Because even if Lockett comes back for one more year, you know it's only for one more year. And it's not like he's going to be all that good. Like, he's going to regress from where he is right now in all likelihood. You think that we should have pulled Gino when we saw that he was hurt? Well, we kind of did, right? He left the game after getting hurt and didn't go back in because the Rams had the ball for the rest of the game. So we didn't really have the opportunity to make that decision. He only played a few plays after he got injured. K9, Charbonnet, K-Mac, are we keeping all three? Almost certainly Young Guns. K9 has no trade value. Why would Lockett go to the Steelers? They already have enough mediocre receivers. They don't need another one. Like, what would Lockett do with the Steelers? That doesn't make any sense to me at all. I'd be very surprised if anybody would give Lockett significant money. Remember, guys, we all know why he does it, but the fact that he has zero yak skills is a significant negative. It's something that we as fans can live with, but it's something that decreases his value significantly. Because Russ is there, I don't think Russ is going to be there next year. Evan Berg, welcome to the membership crew. Thank you for the membership. Elite level membership. Thank you, Evan Berg. Yeah, I don't think Russ is going to be there next year. Honestly, I don't think Russ is going to be anywhere. Hey, EJ, I would like to, but it's got to make sense. I think EJ's a really good player, maybe even a great player, but I think that he is replaceable. Yeah. I think Russ should retire after this season. Like, leave the league on your feet. Don't leave the league on your knee because you got kicked out. What if they beat Ravens? I mean, they're not going to. But if they do, we can have that conversation then, but they're not going to. Is our special teams coach fired? I believe he will be. How you feeling about DK? I'm not really happy with him right now. But if we decide that we're going to go for it in 2025, I think you kind of have to bring him back. I don't like it, but I think you have no choice. I Where do Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers land next year? Cousins goes to New York. Aaron Rodgers goes to his retreat in Oregon. I don't think anybody's going to sign Rodgers. What percentage do you give us keeping Grubb? Like 35%, maybe. I'll go 35%. Pretentious Cameron, thank you for the $5 super chat. Is Russell Wilson now worth less than Geno Smith? I feel like Geno would get more money on the open market. He certainly should. I would assume that he would. Like, I wouldn't give Russell Wilson a penny more than the veteran minimum. And I would certainly give Geno a lot more than that. I don't know if other GMs see it the exact same way, but to me, Russell Wilson is worth basically $1 million a year. I wouldn't pay him any more than that. If you need a really good field goal holder. Any number 3 receivers that you like in free agency? Bow track. Well, Fields is a free agent too, and Fields is bad. Okay. You could get like Keenan Allen for cheap, maybe. He's getting up there, but I don't know if that's helping anything. No, I don't really like any of these guys, these number 3 receiver options. I'm looking. Yeah, I don't see anything. Just draft somebody. We gave up a touchdown on a kick return in that game, though. It wasn't just the fumbles, Nathan. What immediate moves do you think Mike McDonald will make the defense with the defense in the upcoming weeks? Well, none. You don't make moves that early. You wait until you get closer to free agency to make decisions. You don't have to rush anything. There's plenty of time. Nothing will happen in the next few weeks, I think. I think very poorly of Justin Fields, but I actually think the Steelers should just play Fields at this point. And I hate Fields, but I actually think Wilson is so bad right now, it cannot be worse. But Mike Tomlin just got a fat contract extension in the most recent offseason, so what does he care? Yeah, that's kind of how I feel, Ethan. That's kind of what I'm thinking too. I feel like if you keep Geno, you have to keep DK, and if you move one, you move the other. I don't think you keep one and move the other. I think that would be hard to spin. You would need to flip DK and then immediately replace him, which is not as easy as some people would have you believe, even though it is doable. Like, are you going to trade him and then trade up to get McMillan in the draft or something? Has Wilson done enough to get into the Hall of Fame if he retired after this season? I mean, I don't think he should, but there is this one thing that I've been thinking about lately with Wilson. He was kind of a face of the league for a while. He was one of the faces of the NFL in a way that other players like him were not. Like, I feel like he was more of a face of the NFL than a guy like Matt Stafford was. So that might get him in. Because I believe that if you look at the objective achievements and accomplishments and stats, he's not a Hall of Famer. I think that his resume is lacking compared to pretty much every Hall of Fame quarterback. But he was like a face of the league for a while. And I think that might factor in. There's like an abstract element to it. Why is Dan Campbell challenging this? The game's over. Stop being a prick. Like, I think it's really hard to make the Hall of Fame if you never were a serious MVP candidate and you only won one Super Bowl. Like, to me, if you don't have one, if you, those two things apply to you, you probably shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, especially because his volume stats are not going to be that great. Like, he's not going to retire top 5 in passing yards or top 5 in passing touchdowns or anything. Like, that's what Fran Tarkenton did, and he got in partially because of that. How do you feel about JS's comments about free agency? I mean, I wouldn't expect him to say anything different, but if that ends up being the way he conducts business in free agency, I'm not going to be thrilled about it. What makes Russell a Hall of Famer? I think that his best argument is his the fact that he was kind of a face of the league. Now, Hayden, he's never even gotten an MVP vote, so you'd be hard-pressed to say that he should have ever won MVP. You got to get a vote at some point, or else what are we doing? Well, Russell Wilson's not a very smart person when it comes to football stuff. Like, he spent years wanting to be coached by Sean Payton, and being coached by Sean Payton is the worst thing possible for Wilson. And then everybody tries to pretend like it's not Wilson's fault that he ended up with Payton, and that he's just a victim of Payton, like he wasn't begging for Sean Payton for years. If you put Geno on the Lions, I think Geno might win a league MVP. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, the Pro Bowl's a joke. I don't think Matt Stafford's ever made the Pro Bowl. Somebody check me on that. I don't think Matt Stafford's ever made the Pro Bowl. That's not a catch. Blow this play dead. Would you be okay with Jake Peets as the new OC? I wouldn't. That'd be okay. I just want to do better. I just want to try to do a little bit better. He did make the Pro Bowl. How many times? Was it once? Julian Edelman never made Pro Bowl. That one makes sense, though, because he wasn't a regular season guy. He was a postseason guy. Stafford spent over a decade being nothing but a regular season guy, and he still never made an MVP. Pro Bowl. Are you making a Seahawks cap video soon? Yes. I'll be making all videos like that very soon, Gecko. JSN's still on a rookie contract deal, Young Guns. We don't have to worry about that yet. He's stuck on the rookie deal for one more year, and then maybe we extend. I actually did a study a couple years ago. I looked at, well, actually last year, I looked at every quarterback in the Hall of Fame and tried to like figure out what the formula might be. And based on my findings, I actually don't think Wilson gets in. Every quarterback in the Hall of Fame has things that he doesn't have that are very important, with the exception of Jim Kelly. And Jim Kelly lost in 4 straight Super Bowls. When will you start doing draft coverage? Probably right before or right after free agency. Rookie deals are 4-year deals. Who will have the better career, Drake May or Bo Nix? I definitely think Drake May's better. Like, basically, I went through it. Every single player who is a quarterback who made the Hall of Fame in the modern era either had, what was it, 2 league MVPs, 2 Super Bowls, or when they retired, they were top 5 in volume stats, except for Jim Kelly. It was something like that. I can't remember what the exact formula was, but it was some combination of those 3 things. MVPs, Super Bowls or championships, and volume stats. And I was trying to figure out what the formula was to make the Hall of Fame. And I think I found it. I did a whole study on this a while back. We changed your opinion on Bo Nix? A little bit. I still think he's like a slightly better Jalen Hurts. Like the last couple weeks, everybody's been calling Bo Nix like the next Drew Brees, and I definitely don't see that. I heard what Ernest said after the game, Mustafa. Just the typical things you'd expect from any athlete. I don't know. To me, Bo Nix, he's obviously going to be the best version of himself in with Sean Payton, but to me, he is basically Jalen Hurts with a slightly better arm. Would you do Sam Howell in a 4th-round pick for Milton? Yeah, probably. I'd do Sam Howell in a 4th-round pick for Will Levis. That's kind of the trade I want to make, man. Give me Will Levis. I love that guy. Thoughts on Jackson Dart? Feels like a system QB to me, Alex. I think he's a product of the system. What's the most viewers you've ever had on live stream? Probably whenever the Seahawks pick comes up in the draft. I think I've pushed up like 1,200. I think I've gotten up to like 1,200 on drafts. Maybe more. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look, and I can't. I'm not going to be able to do that at this exact moment. Think Levis trade is likely if Titans go QB with their pick? I would think so. Gimme on that one, by the way. I would love to have Will Levis. How do you feel about Cooper Rush? I don't feel anything about Cooper Rush. Thoughts on Will Howard? He's actually pretty decent. I don't mind what I see there. Little more NFL arm than I thought. Not bad. Mm-hmm. 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 Would you take Will Levis over Bo Nix? Probably not. But don't sleep on Levis, man. I don't think anybody's going to get cut ASAP, Young Guns. We got plenty of time to figure this stuff out. Free agency doesn't open until late March. Why cut people now? Maybe you can negotiate something with these guys. What if Draymond Jones comes to you and he's like, hey, I'll redo my deal and play for $5 million next year? You can at least try, right? You can at least say, like, hey, maybe we can work something out. Does Cam Newton make the Hall of Fame? Definitely not. Cam Newton should not even be allowed to go into the Hall of Fame by buying a ticket. If Cam Newton makes the Hall of Fame, The Hall of Fame should be destroyed immediately. Cam Newton only had, like, what, 4 good seasons in the NFL, maybe 5? Didn't win a Super Bowl, won one fraudulent MVP that should have been Carson Palmer. Thoughts on Michael Penix? He played great today, man. I just feel like he's going to get hurt, man. I don't see how he stays upright in the NFL. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. All right, we just hit the 2-minute warning in this game. When this game's over, I'm going to go and get out of here. And I believe I will be live on Twitch tonight. I will be going live on Twitch later tonight to continue through the Palace and Metaphor, so we're right near the end of the game. I might even beat it tonight for all I know. Probably not. So, if you guys want to see more of me and talk about football stuff more, just come find me on Twitch. And, Snacks will be on the call, and he will probably be extremely drunk. I would put Matt Ryan in the Hall of Fame, Gibbs. I would put Matt Ryan in the Hall of Fame. The guy won MVP. The guy played in a Super Bowl. The guy had volume stats that were very close to top 5 or maybe top 5 when he retired. I feel like he should get in. Not by much. Yeah. I think Matt Ryan should go in the Hall of Fame over Russ. Matt Ryan has an MVP. Matt Ryan also had a longer career of being a productive NFL player. Better volume stats. Do you think this bad secondary play after Reek went out changes MM's mind in keeping him? No. I don't think that moves the needle. I think that the decision's been made on Reek one way or the other, and I don't know what that decision is. I was at the game today in LA and noticed that the Rams sideline looked more disciplined compared to the Seahawks. I mean, that makes sense, right? McVay's been there for almost a decade, and McDonald just got here. Russ changed the game and the flow of the QB approach and won a Super Bowl. You don't think Matt Ryan would have won the Super Bowl if he was on that Seahawks Super Bowl winning team? Pretty sure we win the Super Bowl if we had Matt Ryan instead of Russell Wilson on that team. Is Schneider gone? I can't imagine that. There's no way Schneider's gone. You think K9 and Reek gone? Why would K9 be gone? I don't understand this. People keep saying that K9's going to be gone after this season. Why? Like, why do people think that? No, I don't want Ewers in the second round at all. I wouldn't take Ewers until like the 5th round. I don't even know why we'd consider getting rid of K9. He has one more year on his contract. K9 barely makes any money, though, Young Guns. Like, you're not really saving that much. Okay, Morgan, but what did that do quantifiably? Right? Russell Wilson never quarterbacked for a top 3 offense in his career. The best offense he ever QB'd was in 2015. It was like 4th. And that was the only time he had ever done better than in the top 5. These other quarterbacks that people talk about, they QB'd for like top offenses multiple times in their career. The 2016 Falcons was the best offense in the league that year. All right, game's over, people. So I'm going to go and get on out of here. Again, I will be on Twitch later tonight. Come check in. We're very near the end of Metaphor. We might even beat it tonight. I doubt it, but on the table. I just need to take a little bit of a break from streaming. Thanks for coming out, everybody. Thank you to everybody who liked the stream. If you haven't already, please like it on your way out. Subscribe. Videos start up tomorrow. It's the off season, and we're going to hit it hard. All right.